Yo, peace to all of the gods and goddesses that's out there. This is your brother, 13th letter to the cipher. Sorry that I'm late. I almost forgot about this joint. And this is real simple. But first and foremost, I want to say, how are you all doing? Or hi, how are you all doing? Or peace. Some people say that, we won't get off into the shalom and assalamu alaikum. That's not our demonstration either. But I will say peace to you all. And I hope that you all are doing well. Has anybody been getting their notifications? Just asking. I've been hearing things about people not getting their notifications, so that's why I asked. But I hope you all are doing well, and I'm doing well. It is a great Wednesday, so let's keep that energy going. And I hope that you all are continuing to uplift yourselves and uplift all of those that are around you, whether it be family, friends, neighbors, even co-workers. Sometimes they just need somebody to talk to or relate to, even when they are having a very, very bad day, okay? And I want to thank you all for watching and viewing, because without you all, this would not be happening. And I thank you all for the encouragement that you all give me to continue on this platform. I tip my hat to you. Thank you. Okay. um, what's going on in the news besides politics? Speaking of politics, I really didn't prepare for this, but I'm just going to give you what I got, and it's in regards to the U.S. Constitution. There was going to be a part two, but after reviewing the Constitution, there's really no need for a part two. In fact, part one will take care of that all. And I had went upon this journey into the Constitution because of people continue to talk about voting, and they keep telling you to vote, and this 2020 thing is coming up, etc., etc. But you know what? Just for the record, if you all think that I'm lying, okay, just go read it for yourself in regards to voting. In what is it, number 12, amendment number 12 in the U.S. Constitution speaks specifically about voting, and it tells you how the people do not count in the vote. They don't elect the president at all. There are 538 members of the Electoral College that does that for you. If you have not read the U.S. Constitution, I highly recommend that you do so. I keep telling people not to go to jail and prison because of Amendment number 13. And Amendment number 13 speaks solely upon there will be no involuntary servitude unless incarcerated. And when you go to prison, you are literally a slave. You are literally a slave, and you work for slave wages. Okay? That's exactly what they do to you. We had already went off into certain prison industries in other videos, and how big companies actually get some of their products manufactured through inmates. So please stop going to jail and prison. And when people go to jail, they tell me about, or shall I say prison, because jail and prison is two different things. But when they go to prison, they tell me these stories about how it's not like being in jail, and the fact remains is you still don't have any freedom. You still don't have any freedom. Someone tells you to do whatever they want you to do, and there are consequences to that if you don't. I'm just saying. Um, 12, 13. So stop going to prison to be a slave, according to the amendment number 13. And as long as they continue to have you committing crimes, you will be going to prison to be a slave. Someone telling you what to do, what not to do, what time to get up, what time lights out, what time lights on, when you can go to chow, when you cannot go to chow, when you can go to gym, when you cannot go to gym, etc., etc., etc. I mean, some prisons have even cut out their weight or workout department. They've taken out weights and all of that stuff, especially up in San Quentin. I mean, there's no loot, free weights or anything like that. The inmates have to solely produce pounds of flesh, meaning buff up with their natural body. So stop going to prison. If you stop going to prison, you help destroy the very same system that is oppressing you. Please, by all means, stop going to prison. Prison is manufactured for you to be a slave. And when you go to prison, the very same people who were out here broke when you went don't ask them to send you anything because they don't have it. They was broke when you went in, right? So they broke while you in. Nothing has changed. And if you're one of those habitual criminals, okay, if you're one of those habitual criminals, those who keep going back to crime and keep going to prison and prison and prison and prison and prison and prison day in, day out, each time you get out, you want to go back. Each time you get out, you want to go back. They should just put you out on an island some fucking where, along with the homos, okay? I'm just saying. Getting back to the subject. So we discussed the 12th Amendment, the 13th Amendment. Now we are going to get into the 14th Amendment. Now, the 14th Amendment talks about equal protection under the law. Do black people in America have equal protection under the law? I don't have to answer that question for you. Current actions by law enforcement has produced its own measuring stick, and their actions is my answer. There's no equal protection for black folks whatsoever in regards to the Constitution of the U.S. As I stated, you have no rights. However, I want you to really think about this. They say that you got free in 1863, but you were born free. You were born free. Now just think about it. If you're a white person that's out there, right? Think about what would you feel like if somebody just took your freedom, beat you, raped you, hung you, cut your nuts off. Yeah, they actually made eunuchs out of black men at one time. And if I'm not mistaken, Carter G. Woodson was a eunuch. That's real talk. Research. Was it Carter G. Woodson or George Washington Carver? Excuse me, that was George Washington Carver. That was a eunuch. George Washington Carver was a eunuch. Research. But there's no equal protection for black people under the law whatsoever. And black people, as long as you continue to allow other people to do things to you and get away with it, it's going to continue to happen. We will be quick enough to take our aggression out upon someone that looks just exactly like us. But for those who don't look like us, we are not too aggressive. In fact, we are actually passive. Self-hate. How could you not want to defend yourself? How could you not want to treat yourself better or be treated by yourself better versus someone else? Did you all get that, or is it just me? I don't know where that came from. Like I said, I'm just coming off the top of my head in regards to this because it's really nothing to prepare for. Okay? There's no equal protection. And that is number 14. 12, 13, 14 is basically designed for black people. Amendment 13, 12, 13, 14. And then I believe the second one is the right to bear arms. Well, many black folk around the country have felonies which, according to the law, cannot have guns. And this is another reason why they send you young black men, young black women to prison under these felonies so that you cannot possess a firearm, so that you cannot protect yourself. They talk about gun laws and this and that. It's not the guns that's killing people. It's the people that's killing people. The gun cannot shoot you by itself. Someone has to pull that trigger, which leads to a person. Okay, and while they're collecting all of your guns, guess what? You don't have any protection when they come tell you to get on that truck. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, don't get on the truck, okay? And if you do decide to get on the truck, make sure you hijack that motherfucker, okay? I'm just saying, other than that, you have no way out. But we'll get on that to see if you all are ready. That's a whole nother topic. So you can't bear arms, you can't protect yourself. And like I say, most black men and women, most young black men and women, at least 2.2 million of them can't possess a firearm. Okay, that's not including those who had already finished their sentence and their parole and haven't went back. They still can't possess a firearm legally. Okay, and then you just have the Constitution itself, well, where it speaks about slaves and slaves and slaves and slaves. This should be another cue for you black educated people who talk about you got rights. Well, if you are still not a slave, why do they continue to have slave in their Constitution? Why did not they revise that Constitution to remove the word slaves, and how governments, states shall not receive any type of monetary funding for rebellions of individuals like militant groups and things like that who go against the government, which included the slaves. And the slaves, like I said, are property. And you're still property. So don't ever think you're free because of the 13th Amendment. But you have to remember, if you were created or made to be free and someone took your freedom, how are you going to get it back? You say you're free now, you're free to do what you want. You know, it's like the USA is like a prison yard right now. Think about it. The USA is like a prison yard across America. You have the warden, which is the white elite, who make the laws, who discipline, who have their law enforcement discipline them, who reflects the majority of the mindset of those in America. That's right. Law enforcement reflects the minds of the majority here in America. You think about that, okay? So anyway, the US is like a prison yard, and you have all of these type of people. You have people that I would say form gangs in this prison yard. You have the blacks over here. You have the Mexicans over here. You have the Chinese over here. You have the white people over here. You have the Puerto Ricans over here, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And they all form their little tribe or their little gang. And there have been some outlandish things or acts performed from these little gangs or tribes. And among these tribes, the black tribe is the less fortunate, is the less defended, not by others, but by themselves or for themselves. This is very important. Every other gang or every other tribe defends themselves, and they do not practice self-destruction. But then again, they do. You know, you don't have black people killing Chinese. Chinese people kill Chinese. You don't have black people killing Mexican. Mexicans kill Mexicans. It's like a prison yard. Anything goes, no hold bars. They even say that you can have some freedom of speech in the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, but guess what? When you speak your mind, they place you in chains. You become a target by the U.S. government. I mean, look at all of the people who have died before who were greater than any other speakers that I hear on this type of platform. And they've died for what? So that black people can be ignorant to the fact of the very same system that they believe in is the very same system that is continuously oppressing them. I mean, I can't put this any any um any plainer than that. And by the way, if you all have not made some inquiries or responses in the chat room, by all means, leave something in the chat room. Let's have a conversation. It's not just about me giving this to you and me going on about my merry way. No, it's actually about responding to any questions that you have as well. People have been calling in, but let's get something going on the screen as well. Family, the brother would really appreciate that, okay? So yes, so under the Constitution, black folks are still slaves. And like I said, if they're not slaves, why is slavery or slaves still mentioned in the U.S. Constitution, which exists today? There was no re-ratification. There was no slavery took out. And like I said, there's no equal protection at all. And if you go to prison, you are a slave. And most people that are in the prisons of the United States are black people, okay? And you have no right to bear arms, have no right to defend yourselves legally, so to say. What rights do you have? You don't even have the right to vote. And that is right there in Amendment number 12. You think about that. But you got rights. Think about that. If you got some rights, why do they shoot you down in the street like dogs if you're a black man? They don't shoot Chinese down in the street. They don't shoot white people down in the street. They don't shoot Japanese people down in the street. Why you? They don't shoot the Russian people down in the street. They don't do that. They don't shoot the Polish people down in the street. They don't do that. They don't shoot the people that's from India down in the street. They don't do that. In fact, they have the smallest arrest. It's because of that environment that I told you about that they manufactured for you. But you can't even see that. And if you do, let's do something about it, even if it's on a little scale. You know, 10 midgets make a giant. I'm just saying. We have to start somewhere. And who we got here? Elizabeth Mendez, whoever you are, what's up? What's up out there, Elizabeth Mendez? I want to thank you for tuning in to the I want to say number one, but I would say one of the best informative shows that's out here on YouTube. Okay. I'm just saying. Yes, now I wanted to say number one show because when I had my entertainment show, it was the number one entertainment show. But now that I'm just resurfacing or re-emerging to the scene, you know, got to get back in order. Okay. But we're on the next episode will be the 50th episode of the Mo Show, or the re-emergement of the Mo Show, with the Black History demonstration. And 50, which is Easter, will most definitely be a demonstration for you. Okay. I promise to have something special for you all on the 50th video of Black History. Okay. What else I want to talk to you about? I'll leave that for another session. It was in regards to what I saw some people doing inside of Black communities. And that is cleaning up. But I'm just going to tell you right now. Okay. I saw some moving to the next subject, but remember the Constitution. However, why do other people have to clean up your mess, Black people? I mean, think about that. I was coming off the expressway one day and I was going into the hood. And when you get off the ramp, you see a lot of garbage. Ironically, on this day, where the garbage was laying all over the place, where Black people live at all day, 24/7, 365, I saw some white people and some Asian people cleaning up Black people community, picking up their trash, picking up their filth. Why do people outside of you in the hood have to come and clean up after you? See, you have to leave that slave mentality. You see, when we were made niggers, the mindset is for us to fuck up our own shit and make everybody else shit, or keep everybody else shit looking good. Why should someone have to come in and police your area where you live? That was really a sad sight for me to see. And you say that you are free people. You say that you are free Black people under the Constitution, yet you can't seem to police your own community. That was sad. I had almost wanted to cry when I saw that, because no Black person was even helping them. And this is the shit that Black people have laid out in their own streets. So I'm going to tell you, Black folks, stop being a slave. If you see shit that's in your neighborhood, we already doing bad shit out there. At least keep the neighborhood clean. That is a start. Okay? But I just wanted to throw that out there. What else I wanted to throw out? That's about it. And like I said, the Constitution was short, but it was to the point. And like I said, you can't bear arms. You have no equal protection. You become a slave. You still are a slave. And your vote really don't count. So like I said, don't believe me. Just read it for yourself. And like I said, there's 27 amendments. There's 27 amendments. And 4 or 5 of those really pertain to you, especially 12, 13, and 14 if you're a Black man or Black woman here in America. So I highly advise you to read that. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I will be seeing you with 50, which is Easter, okay? The next show will be Easter, the title. But I will be bringing that to you all Sunday, okay? But until then, I highly recommend and ask that you all go back and review videos that you haven't seen, okay? There are like 49 of them out there, so go ahead pick all 49. And by all means, if there's anything that I've said that you like or that's informative to you, by all means, press that subscribe button and leave some comments here. That's in the chat room for anybody that's out there. Leave your replies. I promise to respond to you. And with that, people, I want to tell you to stay away from the popo. Don't drink and drive. Have some love, peace, and respect for yourself. And by all means, love yourself. 13th letter to the cipher, you all. Thanks for watching.